Magandang araw. So, welcome to Math 171, Calculus 1 for Engineers, Student Activity Sheet number 17. And our lesson title for today is the Parametric Equations, Curvature, and Partial Derivatives. So, medyo madami yung lesson objectives natin for today. First is to define parametric equation. Next is to find derivative of parametric equations. Next is to define, illustrate, and derive the arc length and curvature of a curve. Then, compute the values of curvature and radius of curvature of a curve at any given point. And lastly is to differentiate derivative and partial derivative. Okay, so ano ba muna yung tinatawag natin na parametric equations? So, in analytic geometry, we have learned that the curve may also be described analytically by a pair of equations of the form. So, ibig sabihin, kumbaga parang yung curve natin, meron tayong nagagamit na equations. Like for example, ano ba yung mga may curve? Yung circle, di ba? May sariling equation yung circle na kung saan naka-curve siya. Parabola natin, meron din tayong mga naka-curve. Okay, so yung mga yon, yung mga equations na ginamit natin before, ay yun yung mga gagamitin din natin ngayon. Okay? So these equations are called parametric equations of the curve, and the third variable t is called the parameter. Okay? So, for example, the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So, yung origin ng center natin, yung origin nasa center natin, tapos yung radius natin is the r. Okay, so, like for example, we have this circle. So, this one is the center, and then, kapag gumawa tayo dyan ng isang line, that is our radius. Okay, and then, di ba, okay, so baguhin natin, palitan natin, lipat natin siya sa ibang pwesto. Kasi 'di ba sa ating sa circle nakakagawa tayo ng right triangle. Like for example, andito pala yung R natin. So ito yung isang point. So para mahanap mo yung point na yan, syempre maglalagay ka ng x and y mo. Tama? 'Di ba may x ka diyan, may y ka diyan. Then magkakaroon ka ng theta dito. Okay? So that means meron tayong pwedeng kuhanin. Okay? So ibig sabihin, si x natin, x is equal to r cosine theta, and then y natin is, ano yun? It is the r sine theta. Pinag-aralan natin to using sa trigonometry natin. Okay? So, yun, pwede natin siyang gamitin dito. Okay? So, dyan din nanggaling yung ating mga trigonometric identities. Okay? So, for the derivative of parametric form, ang gagawin lang natin dito, this is with respect to time. Okay? With respect to t. Kasi change of rate siya. So, di ba ang curve natin, nagkakaroon siya ng change. Kasi, kumbaga, parang, kung una, pumapanik siya, tumataas siya, gumagawa siya ng parang bundok, okay? Pero, biglang bababa, lalalim. Okay? So, sabihin, nagkakaroon siya ng mga ganyan. So, therefore, may rate of change, may pagbabago. Tama? Okay. So, we have this dx over dt, wherein the rate of change of x with respect to t, and then we also have dy over dt, which is rate of change of y with respect to t. Kasi magkaiba yung equation ng y and x natin. Okay. So, evidently, so kung dx over dt and then dy over dt, so, ang kailangan pa rin natin is the dy over dx. So, paano natin siya makukuha? E de, divide natin si dy over dt kay dx over dt. Kasi, kapag nangyari yan, meron kang denominator pareho na dt. So, cancel, cancel, maiiwan na lang sino? Si dy over dx. Okay? So, ang gagawin lang pala natin para makuha natin, we get the derivative of x with respect to time, we get the derivative of y with respect to time, then, divide natin sila. Okay? So, kaya lang, the problems of finding the second derivative. Okay, so this is the first derivative. This one. So, okay na tayo dun. Pero paano pag dumating tayo sa second derivative? Okay. So, for the second derivative, ang gagawin naman natin, di ba sabi natin, second derivative is the derivative of the first derivative. Okay. So, ang gagawin lang natin doon, for the second derivative, d squared y with respect to x squared, you get the derivative of dy over dx with respect to t, of course, kasi naka-time siya, naka-letter t siya. Okay, but you have to multiply that to the reciprocal of dx over dt, which is dt over dx. Okay? So, yun na una, multiply lang din natin siya, pero sa reciprocal na niya. Okay? So, para mas maintindihan natin siya, let us have this example. So, sabi sa atin dito sa example natin, if x is equal to t cubed minus 1, y is equal to t squared plus t, find dy over dx and d squared y over dx squared. Okay. So, una, kopyahin muna natin. O, si x muna. X is equal to t cubed minus 1. So, we get the derivative with respect to time, to t. We have dx over dt equals, okay, derivative ng t cubed, it is 3t squared. Derivative ng negative 1, 0. Tama? Okay, so okay na tayo. What about now, pagdating kay y? Y is equal to t squared plus t. So you get the derivative of y with respect to t. This is, derivative ng t squared is 2t. Plus, derivative ng t is 1. Okay. Next step natin, to get the dy over dx, we divide. Okay? So, dy over dx is equal to dy over dt over, all over, dx over dt. Okay? So, with that, we just, what do you call this? We just substitute. Ano dy over dt natin? Diba? It is 2t plus 1. So, we have 2t plus 1. All over, ano dx over dt natin? It is the 3t squared. So, ibig sabihin, we can now say that dy over dx is equal to 2t plus 1 over 3t squared. And that will be your final answer. Okay? But, take note, the question is also find the d squared y over dx squared or the second derivative. So, sabi sa atin dito, the solution is that you get the derivative of this one, the first derivative. So, we have d squared y over dx squared. We get the derivative of dy over dx with respect to t. Then, you multiply this to the reciprocal of dx over dt, which will be dt over dx. Okay? So, saving. Alright, so we have dt over dx. So, babalik na rin lang natin siya. Alright, so now we have, ano yung derivative natin ng y, ng this one. We get the derivative of 2t plus 1 over 3t squared. So, this is quotient rule. Okay, para nang quotient rule natin, vdu plus, vdu minus udv over v squared. Okay, so using quotient rule. Okay, so using quotient rule. Okay, so we have d squared y over dx squared equals. Okay, v natin, inasa ilalim, 3t squared, kopya. Then, derivative ng, derivative ng nasa taas, which is 2t plus 1 with respect to t. Then, minus u naman, 2t plus 1, then derivative ng nasa ibaba, which is 3t squared with respect to t, all over 3t squared, then quantity squared. Then, of course, sabi nga natin, we have to multiply it by, okay, so saan ko siya isusulat? Then, times pa. Times natin sa reciprocal. So, ang ating dx over dt is ito. So, big sabihin, kapag binaligtad, dt over dx will be 1 over 3t squared. Okay? So, yan na lang natin siya, multiplied by 1 over 3t squared. Okay? So, with this, simplify lang natin. We have 3t squared. The derivative ng 2t is 2. Tama? Okay, minus 2t plus 1. Then, derivative ng 3t squared is 6t. All over, okay, 3t squared, quantity squared, 3 squared is 9. Then, t, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. Then, we multiply this, ito, by this one, 1 over 3t squared. Okay. So, simplify lang natin. 3 times 6 is, 3 times 2 is 6. T squared. Okay. Tapos ito, i-ano na natin siya. What do you call this? Distribute. So, negative times 2 is negative 2. Times 60 is negative 12t squared. Tama? Then, negative times 1 is negative 1 times 60 is negative 6t. All over, okay, so ito, i-multiply na natin dito. Kasi si 1, okay na yan diba? So, 9 times 3 is, ano yun? 27. Then, t raised to 4 times t raised to 2 is t raised to 6. Pag pinagsama. Okay? So, by simplifying this, we will be having d squared y over dx squared is equal to, so combining like terms, we have 6t squared minus 12t squared. We will be having negative 6t squared minus 6t all over 27t raised to 6. Okay, so if we will be simplifying this more further, ilabas natin ngayon yung common factor nila. So, ano ba yung mga common factor nila? Dito na tayo sa kabila, ha? So, ano yung common factor nila? Sa taas muna tayo. Yung nasa taas, ang common factor is negative 60. Tama ba? Or ano na lang tayo? Negative 3. Sige, labasan natin si negative 6. We have negative 6t. So, kapag nilabas yan, matitira na lang is t plus 1. Okay. All over, si 27t raised to 6. Okay. So, ano ba ang common factor? Pag sinimplify natin si 6 and 27, we divide this by 3. Tama? We divided by 3. So, ibig sabihin, anong mangyayari sa atin? So, negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. And then, this one, may tika sa taas na nasa labas, cancel na natin, and then si 6, bawasan natin. Magiging 5 na lang siya. Okay? So, negative 2 multiplied by t plus 1 all over. So, 27 divided by 3 is 9, then t raised to 5. And that will be your y double prime. Okay, so same answer. Okay, so with this one, you try this on your own para din try natin kung kaya niyo siya maintindihan. But same process. Kaya lang, pagdating dito, nakakosa naman siya. Okay? So let's move to another part of this lesson, which is the curvature. Okay. When we say curvature, di ba sabi ko nga, we are getting a curve. So, ibig sabihin, we also get the length of that curve. Okay? Kasi, iba ang length ng naka-curve sa length ng nakadiretso. Okay? So, kung itong curve na yan, diniretso mo yan, mas mahaba pa yan, di ba? Kasi, kumbaga, halimbawa, kumuha kayo ng, um, ano natin, halimbawa, tali. Kahit anong tali. Then, make nyo siya ng naka-curve. Okay? So, makikita nyo medyo maikli. Pero, kapag siya, inunat natin or ginawa natin siyang diretso, mahaba. Okay? So, kaya magkaiba siya. Hindi natin pwedeng pagkamukain yung haba ng curve sa haba ng nakadiretso. Okay? So, ito ang mga paliwanag lang din naman to kung paano yung mga nakuha. Move na tayo dito. Okay? So, we will still use this x is equal to r cosine theta and y is equal to r sine theta. Okay? So, here is the curvature. So, ibig sabihin ng curvature natin is just the curve. Okay? Ito ang kailangan natin. This is the formula for the curvature. Okay? So, curvature is denoted by k. Ito, yung k natin ito. And k is equal to y double prime or the second derivative over 1 plus y prime squared quantity raised to 3 halves. Okay? So, same lang yan. Same lang yung dalawang formula na yan. Depende lang kasi sa inyo kung ano ginagamit yung formula. Okay. So, that is the formula. So, ibig sabihin, kung ito ang gagawin natin, kung you are getting the curvature k, ang kailangan mo muna is to get the y prime, and then the y double prime. Then, kailangan kabisado mo yung formula. Para yaan, dahil ang gagawin na lang natin dyan is to substitute kapag nakuha natin. Okay? And then, when we say radius of curvature, so ibig sabihin kung may curve kang ganyan, and then may point ka dito, this is the radius. Okay? So, actually, this part is magagamit ninyo on your following subjects. Okay? Hindi yan dito lang sa calculus. So, ngayon pa lang, dapat kabisado nyo na rin yung formula na to. Okay? So, radius of curvature is just the reciprocal of the curvature. Okay, so ibig sabihin, yung k, so reciprocal lang natin, 1 over k. Okay, so r is equal to 1 over k. So, sabihin, pinagbaliktad lang natin yung numerator and denominator. Okay? So, yun yung ating formulas. Okay? So, when the equation of a curve is given parametrically in the form x is equal to g of t, y is equal to h of t, the radius of curvature can be shown to be ganito. Okay? So, paano pag magkahiwalay si x and y? So, ito yung kalalabasan natin. Okay? Meron tayong ganito. Pero, ganito pa rin naman yun. Okay? So, ito lang, another formula pa kasi siya. So, alam niyo naman na kung paano yung ginagawa natin, diba? Kasi napag-aralan na rin sa first part na to. So, kahit ito na lang talaga yung tandaan mo, para hindi na kayo madagdagan ng another formula. So, let us have an example. So, find the curvature of the curve y is equal to x cubed at 1, 1. Or parang mas maganda to. Okay, so sige. Find the curvature of the curve y is equal to x cubed at 1, 1. So, what we are going to do here is, of course, sabi nga natin, ang kailangan natin makuha is si y prime and y double prime. Okay. So, si y prime, kay y prime muna tayo. So, we have y is equal to x cubed. So, y prime, first derivative, anong first derivative ng x cubed? It is 3x squared. Okay. Pero, nagbigay siya ng point. So, ibig sabihin, gagamitin natin siya. Okay? Kasi dito ang magiging sagot na natin is a real number. Hindi na tayo may with terms of x pa and y. Okay? So, sabi sa atin dito, 1, 1. Sino na nga si x dito? Yung nauuna. Sino yung y? Yung pangalawa. So, ibig sabihin, we have x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1. So, we substitute si 1 dito. So, where x is equal to 1. So, y prime is equal to 3. Then, palitan natin si x ng 1. Then, square. Then, y prime is equal to 3 raised to 3 times 1 squared is 3. So, ibig sabihin, y prime daw natin is 3. Okay. Next naman natin, get the double prime. So, we have y double prime. And the second derivative is the derivative of the first derivative. Okay, so ano ang derivative ngayon ng 3x squared? It is 6x. And sabi nga natin, x ulit is equal kay 1. So, x is equal to 1. So, y double prime is equal to 6 times 1. Therefore, y double prime is equal to 6. So, alam na natin na y double prime is equal kay 6. So, let us move now to our formula. Our formula for the curvature is k is equal to y double prime all over 1 plus y prime na naka-square, then raised to 3 halves. Okay, so since you can use your calculators, pwede nyo na agad tong idirekta. Basta alam nyo kung paano i-type. Okay? So, we have now substitute k is equal to, ano y double prime natin? It is 6 all over 1 plus 3 squared quantity raised to 3 halves. Okay, so you can use now your calculators in here and you will be getting 0.1897. Okay, so yan yun. Now, this is now the final answer. What if ang tinatanong na din is the radius? Okay, so dito, ang gagawin nyo lang is to use your calculators again. So, R is equal to 1 over K. So, ang lagay nyo lang sa calcul nyo, 1 over ans. Then, makukuha nyo na ngayon si R. Okay? So, I'm not using my calculator right now, so hindi ko rin alam kung ano yung final answer dito. But then, gano'n lang yung kalalabasan. Okay? So, in here, example number 2, gano'n lang din siya. Okay, mas mahaba lang yung naging given. Okay? So, ibig sabihin dito, find the radius of curvature of the curve. So, again, ang kuhanin lang muna natin si y prime, and then y double prime, then use the formula. Okay? So, for the formula ng r natin, r is equal to quantity 1 plus y prime squared raised to 3 halves all over y double prime. Okay? So, substitute nyo lang din to. Much better kung mag-solve din kayo on your own para makita nyo kung naintindihan nyo siya. Okay? So, ito lang yung ating formula. Okay, so, may binigay din dito na, okay, example number 2, but the curvature of the parabola. Okay, so, same process, yun lang din naman yung kalalabasan. Okay, but then dito kasi ay naka-y squared siya, wherein ito ay implicit differentiation. Okay, so, mas maganda dito kasi dy over dx na siya. Okay? And for the last part of this module, okay, so this is the partial derivatives. Okay, so for the partial derivatives, from the word itself, partial, ibig sabihin parang parte. Okay, parte ng equation na yon. Okay. So actually, this partial derivatives is just is connected to the implicit differentiation. Okay. Di ba sa implicit differentiation natin, ang nangyayari sa atin is that kapag magkatabi si x and y, we get the derivative ng magkahiwalay. Parang dalawang beses natin siyang i-derivative. So dito, when we say partial derivatives, partially mo muna. Halimbawa, may equation ka. Meron kang equation na x and y magkasama. Pero ang gagawin lang natin doon, you get the derivative of x with respect to x. So, ibig sabihin, yung ibang variables na kasama ay considered as constant. Okay? So, ganun yung tinatawag natin na partial derivatives. But for the partial derivatives, hindi na tayo letter D. Ang ginagamit natin is yung nakaganito. Okay? So, yung medyo parang maarte na letter D. Okay? So, yan yung mga nakukuha natin. So, that is partial derivative of z with respect to y. O kaya naman, partial derivative of f with respect to x. Okay? O kaya naman, kung z yung binigay na, we have zy, kaya naman ay zx. Okay? So, ganyan yung ating mga um, symbols. Okay? So, ito is just the definition, but mas maintindihan nyo siya in terms of using the examples. Okay? So, example number 1 natin, find the partial derivative of z with respect to x and partial derivative of z with respect to y for z is equal to 3x squared minus 4xy plus y squared. So, letter A, ang kailangan mo muna is to get the partial derivative with respect to x. So, ibig sabihin, we get the z, 3x squared minus 4xy plus y squared. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, we are getting the partial derivative of z with respect to x. So, ibig sabihin, lahat lang ng may x, yung ating i-consider na variable. Then, the rest, kung may y dyan, considered as constant. Okay. So, this is 3x squared, this is x, may x. So, ibig sabihin, pwede tayo mag-derivative. Derivative ng 3x squared is 6x. Minus, okay, 4xy, magkasama sila, ma'am. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, we consider y as constant. So, ibig sabihin, 4y is constant. Ano ang derivative ng x? Di ba 1 lang? Okay? Then, plus. Okay, y squared. Ma'am, kokopyahin lang po ba? No. Why? Because y squared is considered as constant. What is the derivative of constant? It is 0. So, therefore, this is 0. Okay? So, by simplifying this, we will be getting the partial derivative of z with respect to x is equal to 6x minus 4y. And that will be the final answer for letter A. Okay? So, let's move now to letter B. Paano naman with respect to y? Okay, so, kung with respect to y, same process, pero kay y ka naman nagde-derivative. So, we have z again is equal to 3x squared minus 4xy plus y squared. Okay, then we get the partial derivative of z with respect to y, 3x squared. Sabi natin, we are respected with y. Okay, so ibig sabihin, 3x, kapag x siya, considered as constant. And again, what is the derivative of a constant? It is 0. Okay, minus, okay. So, 4xy, magkatabi ulit si x and y. Again, si x considered as constant. Okay, so this is a constant multiple rule. Derivative ng 4xy is 4x. Then, derivative ng y is 1. Plus, okay, derivative ng y squared. So, since this is y, ibig sabihin, pwede na siya i-derivative. Derivative ng y squared is 2y. So, by simplifying this, we have partial derivative of z with respect to y is equal to 0, tanggalin na natin. Then negative 4x plus 2y. And this will be your final answer. Okay? So, next naman natin is this one. Okay, so same process. So, dito, tatlo naman yung letters niya. So, ibig sabihin, kung nagde-derivative ka muna sa x, then y and z are considered as constant. Okay? Then, if you are getting the derivative with respect to y, si x and z naman ang constant. Okay? And then, lastly, if si z naman ang derivative, then therefore, si x and y ay constant. Okay? And this one, for the higher partial derivative symbols. Okay, ayan. So, for the higher partial derivative symbols, same pa rin. Kaya lang, huwag kayong malilito. Okay, kasi may part na, halimbawa, pinaderivative muna sa'yo si sino? Partial derivative of f with respect to x. Pero pagdating kay higher derivative, after mo dyan, kay y ka naman daw. Like for example, kung ito ay fx, f sub x, pagdating sa higher derivative, higher partial derivative, pwedeng x, y. Okay? So, tingnan natin kung paano siya mangyayari. So, let us have this example. Okay. So, if z is equal to xy squared plus x cubed y, find partial derivative of f with respect to x, partial derivative z of x, zxx, and zxxy. Okay. So, lakihan ko lang yung ating space. Yeah. Okay. So, this one is just the same. Okay. Pareha lang yan. So, we have z is equal to xy squared plus x cubed y. Sabi sa atin, partial derivative of x muna tayo. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, we get the partial derivative with respect to x. Si x ang, siya ang variable. Then the rest ay constant. Okay. So, since x, variable yan, si y squared constant kopya. Ano ang derivative ni x? 1. Okay. Plus, si y constant kopya. Then, derivative ng x cubed. It is 3x squared. Tama. So, pag sinimplify natin to, inayos natin, we will be having y squared times 1 is y squared. Plus, 3x squared times y is 3x squared y. Okay. Next naman natin is to get the second partial derivative with respect again to x. So, ibig sabihin, kay x pa din tayo mag-focus. So, y squared, y is constant. So, what is the derivative of a constant? It is 0. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, derivative ng y squared with respect to x is 0. Plus, okay, so 3x squared y, magkasama ulit si x and y. So, si y ay constant. Derivative ng 3x squared, it is 6x. So, pag inayos natin yan, magiging 6xy. Okay. And lastly, we have z, x, x, y. Okay. So, kay y naman tayo ngayon. Isang term na lang tayo. So, sabi natin, y is the variable. So, x is constant. So, kopyahin na lang natin constant natin since constant multiple naman siya. The derivative ng y is 1. So, therefore, we are getting the derivative ng zxxy equal kay 6x. And that will be your final answer. Alright? So, for this module, pwede kayong mag-try sa mga naging examples and also this skill building activities. Alright? So, thank you for watching.